All right, welcome to this video on three-way calling. Excited to cover this topic because it is extremely effective as a concept and also extremely profitable. And I know it's going to help a lot of people solve this problem that they're dealing with. What is the problem that I'm talking about? Well, we have a lot of team members who are doing a great job is sharing information, exposing people, maybe getting them to check out a video, maybe doing a Facebook post to get them interested, or just kind of initiating interest. But we're hoping sometimes that they enroll right after that first video or first exposure. And if they don't, we think it's the end of it, or we feel stuck and we feel like nobody wants to enroll. That's not how it works. So I want to help you with that. Here's how it works, okay? What happens is you do have a small percentage of people who will enroll right away. Small percentage, 5%, 10% max, okay? And that's usually based on a couple of things. That can be based on the timing of their life. They were looking for something like this. They needed this service right away. They were looking for a business. They had the extra money to invest. Or your influence, meaning they trusted you. They, they look up to you, or they just wanted to support you, etc. And those people will enroll after just a short video, maybe get 1 or 2 questions answered. Some people don't need much information. They just trust you. They're ready to enroll. But I don't want you to be misled and think that's how the whole business is going to work. See, the other 90% have to be taken through the system. And this is why people get confused. If you're not careful, here's what happens. You get started, you get a lot of people started based on you with no system because of your influence. Maybe you're successful already, you're a pastor, you're right, and they join and they enroll, and you think that's how the rest of the business should work. But then you start running out of people who will sign up just based on your influence and who you are or support you, and now it's harder and nobody wants to sign up just after a video. And you think the business doesn't work. Nope. That's not how it works. We have to adapt and learn the rest of the system. See, the rest of the system, here's how it typically works for the other 90%. The other 90% won't get started until an average of 3 to 5 exposures. So the three-way call is part of the follow-up process. We always say rule number 1 when it comes to enrolling, especially new agents, is exposure is everything. But rule number 2 is fortune is in the follow-up. And we actually used to say fortune is in the immediate follow-up. You know, you want to create a sense of urgency. See, I want to follow up. We call it strike while the iron's hot. I want to follow up right after they've seen the video. I don't want to let a day or 2 go by and now they're cooling off. So we're going to talk about that on this video, guys, and it's going to be extremely helpful. So let's get started. The first objective of the three-way call and why it's helpful is it allows your team to get right into action. See, somebody who's brand new, no experience, doesn't know how to answer questions, doesn't know how to do a presentation, can immediately start enrolling people because they have the videos and the tools that can do a presentation, and then they can immediately introduce somebody who has more experience on a three-way call to answer their questions and get that person started. And that's what happened for me. I enrolled on a Friday, and by Monday, I had 5 people enrolled because three-way calls, guys. I didn't know how to do a presentation in FES. I didn't know any of that. I didn't understand the comp plan. Didn't matter. My sponsor, Alfred, he gave me a video to share with people. It was a 9-minute video, okay? And here's what happens. So, step 1. You pique their interest and actually get them to watch a video or some kind of presentation tool, right? And that could be a webinar. We have videos on our website. We have YouTube. We have, one website that works very well that we use is fesopportunity.net, and it has the information on the service, and there's another video on the whole opportunity. But there's different tools you can use. So I'm going to get them to commit to checking that out. Let's say I get them to start with the 9-minute video. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let them know, hey, the video is only 9 minutes. I just want to get your feedback on it, and if you could watch it right now, I'll give you a call back in 15. So I want them to watch it right away and keep the process moving with more urgency, right? So now they commit. I say perfect. Get off the phone. I text them the video. Now I'm going to text one of my leaders or experts that I could use for a three-way. You want to try to have at least 3 or more people you can lean on for three-way calls in case 1 or 2 of them aren't available. So I send my text out that says, hey, three-way in 15 minutes. with a question mark. And then whoever responds first, that's what I'm going to use for my three-way. Now, who should you use it for? An expert? Anybody who's a little more successful than you. It doesn't have to always be your vice president or above, okay? If you're a field trainer or senior field trainer, it could be another senior field trainer or a sales director. Or you guys get my point? It also doesn't have to be somebody in your upline. It could be a workout partner. It could be a friend in the business who, you know, maybe you met through the local events. But just have at least a few leaders that you can lean on for three-way calls. Okay, now, I've set this call. I got my expert lined up. It's time to follow up with the person. I'm gonna give, pay attention to these keys. There's 4 steps to the follow-up when I follow up on a call. Step number 1 is I'm gonna qualify their time. So let's say this person's name is Mike. So I get him on the phone. I say, hey, Mike, man, I was looking forward to your feedback. You have a few minutes right now. Mike says, yeah, I got a few minutes. There's a reason why that question is so important. I'll tell you in a minute. It's gonna come in handy on the back end of the call. So he says, I have a few minutes. That's question number 1. Step 1, few minutes. 2, then I'm gonna ask, so man, tell me, what did you like best from what you've seen so far? You notice I didn't say, what did you think? If you say, what did you think, then their answer could be negative or positive. But if you say, what did you like best, it encourages them to think of the positive things that they liked, okay? And so usually if you want a positive answer, ask a positive question. So I say, what did you like best? He says something positive about the business or the service or both. It doesn't matter. Step 3, I'm gonna say, feel, felt, found. Watch how this works. So I say, hey, Mike, you got a few minutes? He says, yeah. I say, great. What did you like best from what you've seen so far? He says, well, man, this idea, this service actually sounds like a really good concept. And even it actually sounds good as a business as well. I say, man, I know how you feel. I felt the same way when I had a chance to, when I was first, had a chance to take a look as well. And here's what I found out. Dude, they've been around for 14 years before I had ever heard of it. Track record is A+. And they've already helped a lot of people. So I'm fired up about working with the company. See how I use feel, felt, found? Now, here's a good one to know. Some people say, well, what if they say something negative? That's why these 4 steps work. So I say, you have a few minutes? Yes. What did you like best? He says, man, it sounds good, looks good, smell good, but is this like a pyramid scheme, man? Right? Guess what? I still say feel, felt, found. I say, listen, I know how you feel. You can say, I felt the same way, or if you don't want to lie, because if you didn't feel like it was a pyramid, then you can say, I know how you feel. A lot of people felt the same way at first, and here's what I found out. I found out the company's been in business for 14 years. They're registered with the Better Business Bureau, and they have an A+ rating, and their services has already removed over 1 million items from negative items from people's credit reports. And so this is absolutely legit, and already has a track record of longevity behind it, man. I'm excited. You guys get that? Feel, felt, found. It works. And then the last step of the 4 steps is this is the transition to the 3-way call. So here's what I'll say after feel, felt, found. I'll say, I know how you feel, felt the same way. Here's what I found out. I tell them what I found. And then I'm going to say, so here's the next step. As I mentioned on our first call, I told you I'm brand new, I'm still learning. I don't want to give any wrong information, but I'm working with some people who are already more successful, know all the information, and I told one of them about you. And so the next step is actually for us to introduce you on the 3-way call. And I want you to just meet a real person because you've seen a video so far. But now here's where this is the most important part of the introduction, is what we call edification. Psychologically, our conditioning has taught us to run away from strangers. So if you just say, hey, I'm going to introduce you to somebody, some people panic and they don't know. They think you're introducing them to a closer, a stranger, a salesperson, somebody that's overwhelming or intimidating. Your edification is going to make it more relaxed. So I'm just going to say in my edification 4 things. These are the key 4. When you get better, you can arrange it a little bit differently if you want. But these key 4 things allow you to make whatever type of person you're talking to feel comfortable, because there's 4 personality types you're talking to. The money-driven person, the person who's driven by fun, the person who loves helping people, and the person who craves more information, research, data. So I'm going to say in my edification, I'm going to say, hey, so the next step is for me to introduce you to somebody who's had more success. They're a real person instead of just going by the video you saw. But let me tell you, this person is already making great income with the company, loves helping people, super fun to work with, but more importantly, they have 100% of the facts. And so they'd be the best person for you to speak with and getting your questions answered. And I want you to just hear their story. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to introduce you to so-and-so. And then you click over. Now, at this point, they might say, well, actually, can we do this later? I gotta run. This is their fear kicking in, okay? Sometimes. Some people won't. They'll just let you do it. They'll say, oh, okay. But if they do hesitate and say, can we do this later? Remember in the beginning I said, do you have a few minutes? That's when I bring that up. I say, hey, well, no, this isn't gonna take that long. Remember, actually, if you had a few minutes, it's only been a minute, maybe two right now. This is only gonna take another minute or two and we'll wrap up. But I just wanna get this out the way, get your questions answered and see if it's even worth moving forward. Hold on one second. Boom. And then I transition to the three-way call. You guys get my point? Powerful. And usually the feel, found, and what did you like best part only takes 1 minute. So you still have 2 minutes left to get into the three-way call. And once they feel comfortable, the experts on the phone is gonna relax them. The expert's gonna ask them about themselves, share their story, and then we're gonna find out where they are. In closing out the call, a few things. One, we're gonna find out if they're ready to enroll as a customer. We're gonna find out if they're ready to enroll as an agent. The third option is we're gonna find out if they just need more exposure. Remember I said the average person won't get started until 3 to 5 exposures. At this point, they've usually only had 2 exposures, the video, the three-way call. Now they might want to come to your home presentation that week later, an overview, see a webinar online or whatever the case is, okay? And then the fourth option is they might just want to be a referral source and refer you business. So for those people, we'll strive to get at least 10 referrals. Those of you that are getting a lot of leads online, guess what? When we get business online, one of the best things we can do is try to transition it offline as fast as we can. So we might do a post and get a lot of people say, hey, I want information. Well, when you follow up with them, you say, great, I see you're looking to get more info on improving your credit, or you're looking to get more info on working from home, whatever your post was about, and you ask them a couple questions and say, hey, you know, when's the last time you checked your credit? Or, you know, hey, have you ever worked from home? What do you kind of, you know, ask a few questions and say, perfect. Next step for us is to set up a call today. What time works for you? And now you get them offline talking to them, and then guess what? Then you can transition your online leads and trial runs and everything to three-way calls and get more people closed out. And a lot of us that are new, we know how to get people interested, check out the video, but we don't know how to close. And that's probably why you're not getting a lot of enrollments. The best way to get better at closing is three-way calls, because you're going to introduce them to somebody who's going to walk them through the process. And then you'll hear us close, you take notes, and then eventually you learn how to do closing, and you also learn how to do three-way calls for your team in the future, in the near future. So with that said, guys, I'm telling you, powerful concept, super profitable, and as we say, more three-ways equals more paydays. And we can tell how fast you're gonna get to your next title based on how many presentations and how many three-ways are happening in your team. And so literally three-way calls are a huge pillar to your success, and you get into that next level. And so share your comments below on the videos as you're using three-ways and how it's working for you, or if you've already been using them, just share some of your success and people can read below. And we'll see you guys over the top. Peace.